What's up, y'all? It's your boy ShowtimeDr. Coming back at you with the Nemesis guide today. So the character got a rework pretty recently, so we're gonna check out. I built it up kind of as the counter to the tanky revive meta that we got going on. This is the perfect counter. She has both ignore armor and anti-revive, and they both feature pretty heavily in her kit here. So let's get to it. So our leadership, fire dart, crit strike damage dealt by 20. The only way I could see you using this is if you're running a heavy AoE team, so like Mina. I'm trying to think of some other fire heroes, but there's a couple out there that do AoE damage overall. So Damien's one of them. If you run a team like that, then this might make some sense if you're running some fire dark synergy. Normally when there's fire dark synergy, I recommend Mina and Surdic because they both have charm on top of a little bit of AoE on Surdic's part, a lot more on Mina's part, but anyways, so that's her leadership here. So now here's the way that they've reworked her passive. Caster gains a shield equal to 20% of max HP for 1 turn when a dark orb is acquired. If there are 3 or more dark orbs when attacking, consumes all to inflict damage equal to 120% of attack that ignores defense. So the shield at the top here, that pretty much just adds to her passive mitigation, higher her health, more that you're shielding for. Dark Orb is her own self-stacking buff. And basically, like it says, if you have 3, you're going to consume all of them to inflict 120% of attack that ignores defense. That's very prominent in her kit. So one thing to note that some people miss, though, if there are 3 or more dark orbs when attacking, so you can't just hit her 2. Her 2 doesn't attack, it's a self buff. We'll get to that later, but keep that in mind because in PvP you can get kind of lost with the turn order sometimes with her. Alright, so flashback. Obtains 1 dark orb at the start of the wave or turn. 100% chance to obtain 1 dark orb every time an ally inflicts unable to be revived. So this is kind of what makes her, even though it doesn't seem like it. She gets 1 dark orb right off. And once again, it's 3 max before the 120% ignore defense AoE goes off. So she's automatically going to have 1 at the beginning of a turn, and then 100% chance to obtain 1 dark orb every time an ally inflicts unable to be revived. Now, that seems kind of odd, and I've never run her with another ally that does that except Morrigan, which I've never actually paid attention to. I guess we can check it later when I take her into PvP. But probably that also means her own, but if it doesn't, I guess we'll just have to see about that. So, I was curious, I didn't know that they wrote it like that. I wonder if that's a mistranslation or if that's really what happens. But we'll get to that. So on her 1, 100% damage, 45% chance to make the target unable to be revived for a turn. As you skill it up, base damage goes up. Chance to make unable to be revived goes up all the way to 65%, and it's 2 turns instead of 1. So, decent skill there. On her 2, this is her self buff. This used to be a group buff, which I mourned. I poured out a 44 when we lost this as a group buff, but oh well. Increase the caster's critical strike chance by 15% for 2 turns and acquire 3 dark orbs. Increase the caster's attack speed by 650 for a turn. So what happens with this is, as you skill it up, you know, the crit strike chance goes up, the attack speed buff goes up. And then, basically that attack speed right there pretty much makes it so that her turn's going to come, if not instantly, then almost instantly again. Like, it's maybe 1 or 2 characters in between. So a lot of people, when they're doing PvP, they hit this, like, right off. And then they go ahead and hit this, which I think is a mistake, but we'll see how it goes. Now on her 3, inflicts penetration damage equal to 120% of attack to all enemies, 25% chance to make the enemy unable to be revived for 2 turns. As you see, I've been skilling this up. So the more you skill it up, base damage goes up. Chance to make enemies unable to be revived goes up. And eventually, by the way, when you get this to max, if you notice, 5 turn skill cooldown versus a 6 that it normally is. And then you get up to 45% chance. But with this skill, you're hitting everybody. So 45% chance on everybody. You're probably going to get at least 2 people. And so what's the major theory is, you know, get a dark orb from this, and then every time unable to be revived goes down. Which hopefully, once you max this, you'll get it on at least 2 people once you hit her 3. Then at that point, you should be able to do all this AoE damage, and then this 120% is going to go off too, and this ignores defense. So that's the prevailing theory, and then you hit this after, you know, after you've ulted, in most cases, just for... You get more crit strike chance for a while. And then you have 3 orbs, and you got that attack speed, so your next turn's going to come quicker. So basically, you're going to get 2 turns off really fast, but you want to hit this 1 normally in PvP. Or, excuse me, this 3 normally in PvP. Because you want the AoE damage to go out. You're usually running over with a team that has a lot of heavy hitters early, especially on fire synergy. And then you want, like I said, you want the passive to go off, 120% ignore damage, and hopefully... If that doesn't wipe people, that's going to really get a lot of people low. Now, the problem is this doesn't penetrate. It ignores defense, but it doesn't penetrate. This as well does penetrate. So it's kind of weird. There's like a dichotomy there. Like if someone has like Ghost Girl or whatever up, you can hit them with this, but then this isn't going to work, unfortunately. Unless you happen to have that proc, that talent proc, which we'll go over that. I think it's like a 15% chance when you're hit, something like that. You're going to get to penetrate for the next 2 turns, I believe. So, as far as PvE and PvP, in my opinion, skill upper 3. Normally, back in the day, I would have said PvE, skill upper 2, but hell, maybe even skill upper 3, but... Now you definitely want to do as much AoE damage as early as possible in the era of guild battle, tanky res meta. Just do as much damage as you can, and even if you don't get people down, which hopefully you will, but even if you don't, you're making them blow cooldowns to heal up to full and put protections up, etc. And then if your team's built right, you should be able to strip all those away and focus on whoever you want to focus. So I'll show you what I'm doing with mine right now. So early on in your Nemesis career, when you first get her, you're going to want to be building her attack, and then attack speed. I built it up a little bit just so she goes pretty quickly. I have her geared for PvP, full disclosure, you'll see that later. And then get her crit strike chance up, you know, not a ton, but a good amount. Try to get to at least 25-30%. I'm falling a little short of that, but I'm not finished with my build with her right now. And then you see I'm working on the critical damage because she does have that self-buff crit. Starts at 15%. I believe it ends up at 40%. Bonus crit chance. So once you get that, and early on you're trying to build more crit strike chance, and then as you get her built and you get her runes leveled up, etc., you probably want to take a little bit away from chance and put it into damage. Once you start getting all the purple stars and stuff. Accuracy will come. Multi-strike, you know, it's just kind of there, honestly. I think it just happened to be on a rune. I wasn't purposely gearing her for multi or counter because, in my opinion, she really has no problem building up charges on her orbs. The thing that you would want multi or counter for is giving more unable to be revived procs with her 1, which has a decent chance, as you can see. And I'm trying to think, I think it used to be that her orbs used to actually give her bonus, like 5% attack or something like that, and it doesn't look like it does it anymore, unfortunately, but, you know, they've improved her so much, she probably didn't need it. But so this is what I'm doing with mine right now. I think the HP's just there by chance. I built up her crit damage and her HP percentage increase. Just because there's so much damage out now that's a little bit ignored defense. That's someone that's as squishy, and that's there for... Because she's there, you know, let's be frank, she's there to kill. She's there to kill and keep things dead. So you can see HP increase on her 1. I actually gave her a 5-star rune on her 2. I used to use this on Esna, I remember, before I got Esna a better rune. Attack speed, you know, that's self-explanatory. You want to go as fast as you can with her to get your ultimate stuff off. And then crit damage. I like the crit damage. It'd be nice to get this on a 6-star rune, and I know I could level it to 15 and get the 6-star, but not quite the same. So this is HP. Another triple HP increase here. For slot 4, you know, I could actually probably do better, but that's the best of what I had left, unfortunately. If I ever get a triple attack or something else that makes sense there, other than HP recovery, I'll go get that. Same thing with this one, although this is a slot 5 rune, so it's kind of hard to get a good slot 5 rune unless you're running Rune Dungeon all the time. Now this, once again, I got her more attack speed. I'm really pro get Nemesis to go as quickly as possible, because you can make a huge difference in PvP. Critical strike chance, like I said, focus that a bit, and then multi, it's just there. You know, I wasn't really focusing on it. If it happens to go off, that's great, but you know, whatever. So then here's our hero talents that I got as of right now. I believe I still got to work on, I think I got a couple 2-stars, but you know, attack, damage in arena, a little bit of defense. Now, you can go with burn or decrease elemental damage, but decrease elemental damage, it's like Tayo and Esna are the water heroes you see, and most of the time they're going to wreck you anyways, so you know, just get what I can on defense overall. Because there's a lot of strong non-water DPS heroes. Decreased damage taken in arena. Once again, I'm focusing arena. You guys might say, well, why don't you do this? Because then it would hit a lot harder. I want her to stay up because she offers something that a lot of DPS heroes in this game do not offer, and that is ignore defense and unable to be revived in an AoE capacity. Morrigan can do it as a single. And other than that, as far as offering both, no, I'd have to look at Mary's kit because I don't have a Mary. I know Mary can do unable to be revived, but I don't think she ignores defense. At least not conventional stuff. And other than that, I mean, I'm sure there's 1 or 2 heroes out there, but I can't think of any that do AoE. And even if there are, for fire to have both of those, I can't really think of anyone else aside from Morrigan. But so, and then critical strike chance. Now, as you get more crit strike chance, if you find some runes, you're running heavy crit strike chance. Maybe you got the 2 set for crit strike, which actually probably isn't the worst idea. Then you could switch this over to crit damage, or you could switch it to, like I said earlier, penetration damage when attacked. Probably wouldn't be the most terrible thing. The only problem with this is you have to get attacked before her combo goes off, because odds are in PvP, unless you happen to make it to round 50 or whatever, the combo's not going to go off twice. So, you know, maybe some cooldown reduction or whatever, but in this case, probably not. And the reason I say that, for those who forgot, this is on a 6-turn cooldown until you skilled up all the way to a 5-turn cooldown. So, and then she's considered attack, so once again, once you start getting the purple stars, yeah, I've only gotten 1 for her right now, so she's a little behind. But the first purple star, you know, that's always going to be your attack and your attack speed increase. Defense and accuracy. Accuracy is starting to come into the meta now a little bit just because of Aemon. Defense helps keep her up a little bit. Max HP, never a bad thing. Damage dealt to defense types. Ignore armor works the best on defense types, because defense types normally, defense and support, but especially defense, they're the ones that stack the armor pretty high for the most part, so you just want to go ahead and deal more damage to them, especially when you're ignoring defense. And then damage for skill 1. It's important, but, you know, it's not crazy, amazing important. Defense is nice to have. HP is nice to have. Damage to supports. Primarily, her best damage is going to go against supports and defense, like I said. And then the last purple star is always the best for attack types with 20% bonus attack, 20% crit strike damage. Always pretty gnarly, so I think if I'm... Oh, yeah, synergies. I should go into synergies real quick. So, synergies with her. Why did I click that? Apologies, guys. You know how sometimes you just go on autopilot and you're like, alright, what am I doing? Get back to this here. Alright, so your synergies with Nemesis here. So she's a fire attack. So she's gonna have, if you're running her with full fire team, you probably want to run either Morrigan, or if your best tank is, I always forget, Electra. You know, run Electra because Electra has the leadership, increase fire allies attack by 60. If you're not running all, or maybe you don't have Electra built like I don't, not running all fire as well, go ahead and run her with Morrigan. 40% additional damage. And I think the Deadly Trinity, at least among fire heroes now, as far as making your fire DPS really mean, gonna be Morrigan as leader with a Cynthia and a Nemesis. And so a lot of you're thinking, but what about Rue? It's like, well, I mean, Rue's banned this week in PvP anyways, but I'm actually running him with Sid right now because Sid can reduce cooldowns with his 2. And then he's got the res, you know, that's there for you. And he can remove debuffs, but you can, you know, you don't have to use his 1, like say if Cynthia's the lowest, because you don't want to cleanse her silence. Cynthia's also ignoring defense. And then Morrigan ignores defense with her ult. So right there, you have a very nasty front line as far as DPS goes. Solid support, and then I round him out with Aemon for the extra protection and extra counter, etc. But once again, you can also run him with Leafa. Leafa on her too, she's increasing attack damage, critical strike damage, and decreasing damage taken. The more you skill that up, higher it gets. It's funny, this is like the one skill in the game that actually like levels symmetrically 4% every time. I guess they didn't want it to get too powerful. I don't know, but anyways, Leafa's a good choice. Leafa does not ignore armor. She does have a ghetto taunt. She has an enrage that makes her a bit buffer. And then she has a resolve, so. And penetration if you need it. She can actually, Leafa hits deceptively hard, so paired with a Nemesis. It used to be you would run Nemesis and Leafa together just to dual buff the team for crit strike damage and chance, along with the other buffs, but we lost that now, so Nemesis is her own thing. Otherwise, other heroes you can run it with, like I mentioned before, the leadership includes Dark Allies for critical strike damage dealt. So naturally, you would want a high critical damage hero, someone like a Damien, Morrigan, Leafa if you build her right. This girl right here, she's gonna crit every time if she's silent, Cynthia. So you could really like kind of amp the damage there, but once again, at that point, unless Morgan's banned for whatever reason from the dungeon or the PvP, you probably just want either Morrigan, or for PvE, you want Electra as your leader. Dark Heroes, there's a thing I'm starting to notice about Dark Heroes now, with the exception of a couple. One of them being Ashley. There's not too many one-shot artists on Dark right now. Now, there are, like, there's Kane in PvP, but for the most part, you can build him a certain way, but he's not really one-shot. Like, it's weird, because, you know, this will go to 480. Now, I can't get it there, because I don't have extra Kanes lying around, but I don't know, it's just weird. Like, I remember how much we used to all, like, fear this guy, and now just kind of like, well, if he has, like, 5 stacks of Untamed Nature, maybe, but there's so many heroes out there now that hard counter him with not only Ruby, but they put Melancholy up and it just wrecks him. But Ashley's one of those one-shot artists on Dark. Go ahead, bring up, see if there's a list of Dark heroes. Yeah, I'm trying to think, like, who's a one-shot artist? Not her, Ashley. Mina, not really. She can hit hard, though. Yeah, I mean, he's a good tank. The Kane and Sinclair, they're more AoE types. But now that I'm thinking about it, does the Kane's 2? That's a 3 target. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure there's probably some hero I'm missing or not thinking about, but it's kind of hard, like, when you think of Dark, I actually think more of AoE heroes than I do of, like, you know, hard-hitting one-shotters like a Morrigan or a Ruby or something like that. But anyway, so we're going to take her out now. Once again, she is 1 purple star, so she's a little under-geared for Arena, quite honestly, but this is a showcase video, so if I win or lose, it's a showcase. That's the way it is. Let's give this a shot here, and hopefully trying to think, is she okay in the 2 position? She should be. We hope. I just hope Sid doesn't get one shot. You know it's coming. Well, actually, Eamon can stop it, but... Alright, so let's see here. Once we get the Nemesis, I'll go more in depth on what I'm doing with her, etc. But for right now, focus on what I'm doing. So I got Engraving of Destruction up, so that's going to instantly proc Eamon's Resolve once you saw Ruby ult Tayo there. So now we're on Nemesis. So here's the thing with Nemesis. She already has 2 orbs. Got a damage immunity, which I think came from Sid's passive, along with a bunch of people have damage immunities. And yeah, sure, critical strike chance is increased. That's kind of funny because Sid's proc ended up buffing everybody, but it also buffed Nemesis attack and Nemesis's Nemesis crit strike chance. So this has the potential to be really nasty. So let's go ahead. We'll turn on visual effects. We'll channel the mojo here. And so once again, like I said, you want to start with Nemesis 3. Penetration damage. Makes enemies unable to be revived. 34% chance. I have it skilled to level 4 right now. Now, let's say that Eamon... I think he did use his 2, actually. So since Eamon used his 2... And let me make sure of that. Hit back on... No, okay, well, I guess maybe he didn't. Weird, I thought he did. Hold on, look something real quick. That's hit back, but that's my team. That's hit back for their team. Okay, so when I ult... So here's the thing, when I ult with Nemesis, this is another thing you need to pay attention to when you have an AoE character. Everybody is going to counterattack her. Now, she has damage immunity up, which means, unless there's someone that has, like, penetration proc or passive penetration damage, which it doesn't look like any of them have on this team, but you know, you can never tell for sure, but I'm pretty sure. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna ult with her right now, and let's see how hard it hits. You keep in mind the because we can't kill Ruby because I think she has a resolve up, but other than that, keep in mind everyone's health and Ruby's health too. So let's see how this goes. Everyone's at full, Ruby's at about half. And keep in mind, this is not a built-up Nemesis. Boom! Look at that damage. Right there. Now this guy, he was damage immune. We also proc their Sid's damage immunity. Yeah, let me skip there. But for the most part, you see, we took almost everybody down to half, except for whatever reason he didn't take damage. He probably dodged it, because that's the aim and pronus. So... But then the other thing is, let's see how many anti-revives we put on. Because I do not believe... I'm trying to think if there's Sid win. I don't think there's Sid win. Alright, so I see one here. So there's one on Ruby. So it looks like we only got 1 out of 5, unfortunately. Which, another unfortunate thing is, we got it on the person that has a resolve up. So no matter what I do to them, they're going to survive until their next turn, so that kind of sucks. But the good news is, you know, even though she suffered a stun, I believe, from Tayo, she's still alive, and Tayo normally hits pretty hard, so that's a good thing. So what I'm going to do right now, because you see how we have all these damage immunities up right now? So I am going to save Morrigan's ult. And I'm going to go ahead, do a little bit of damage to Tayo and cleanse all the damage immunities. So then now, I'm gonna sabotage a bit. I'm gonna go on Sid, assuming this Tayo isn't haunted. I think, should I go on Sid or should I just AoE? No, I should start. Sorry, I know I'm over-explaining, guys. Give me a second. Turn visual effects off. Alright, so now Tayo's got 70% damage. absorption on for another turn. We've managed to take out Sid, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn on hit back. Now, every time someone's hit, or at least up until a certain point, so unfortunately it looks like Eamon took a lot of it. Ugh, Nemesis is stunned, so I can't showcase her right now. We'll counter that dude. Alright, so now. What's funny is she already has Unable to be Reviva, but the odds of me being able to kill her are fairly low. So instead, I am going to go for the Unable to be, the Revive that is on their Morrigan. Hopefully I'm not taunted. And even though you see I have Engraving of Destruction on, as long as I don't have Anti-Revive, I really don't care, because they've already delayed Morrigan's ult one turn with that damage immunity. I'm not going to wait any longer, so... And let's see, mine went down, but mine's still alive. Theirs is gone for good. You gotta be willing to take risks like that in PvP, especially in guild battle. So, he's probably gonna bring back their, oh, maybe not. That's weird, why didn't he bring back... Huh, I guess Sid must have, like, resurrected somebody already. I just missed it. Ah, Nemesis, this was your showcase, baby. Why are you stunned? Alright, looks like their Aemon's down. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna save... I'm gonna kill... I'll kill Sid, and then I'll try to save Ruby for, well, assuming Sid doesn't... Okay, good. Alright, so now I'm gonna try to save... Let's get that damage immunity down. There's Nemesis right here, so now I'm gonna showcase her 2 once again. Increase her on crit strike chance for 2 turns, acquire 3 Dark Orbs. She already has 3 Dark Orbs. So... But I just want you guys to see how fast her turn comes back. Notice she's not on the turn bar. Do that. Look at that, she appears right there. So she's got 2 turns. So I'm gonna pass with all my other characters here, and hopefully she does not piss off Morrigan. Alright, so now we are going to attack, and if this doesn't kill her, you're gonna see Nemesis's passive go off with the ignored defense. You see, her 1 actually did decent damage there, considering that is a Ruby with, I believe, 8 purple stars was that? Yeah, I have to look after the fight. But overall, considering she was stunned for 2 turns, I actually put out a good grip of damage. Could have put out a lot more if I'd have been able to attack with her 2 turns. Probably would have did comparable damage to Morrigan, because Morrigan's ult was delayed 1 turn. Let me see real quick. Yeah, that's a 6-star freaking Ruby. Yeah. Alright, so let me see if we can get another... Yeah, this will be a rougher team, but... We'll see if I can showcase her better with this group. By the way, guys, while we're here, do any of you guys have any other gacha or mobile games that you guys like? I'm not quitting this game, so don't get scared about that, but I'm looking for another game to expand into. So if there's any games that you guys are have lots of fun with. I played Brave Exvius, the Final Fantasy game, but, you know, they don't need videos from me on that game, so that game's pretty oversaturated. I'm trying to remember if she ults first. I think she shields first. Okay. But if you guys have any suggestions, I like RPGs. Anything with RPG elements, honestly. Doesn't have to be like a hardcore RPG, it could be a shooter game, it could be a strategy game, whatever. Alright, so right now, once again, you see how she's taking some damage, so that's her proc shield right there. She also managed to get cursed. And she has 2 Dark Orbs, let's see how much damage we put out there. Keep in mind the 2, Tayo and Claude are both shielded, so hopefully she'll get some decent deeps out even with that. Not terrible. Although we didn't get any... Oh, we did get one anti-revive, and it's on Morrigan, which is pretty nice. Okay, so what I'm gonna do then... What the heck is that on blood? Strike preparation. Oh yeah, that's from... Yeah, girl, Cheshire. Alright, well... What I'm gonna do then... We're gonna try... Because this is a purely DPS team. I'm gonna go on Nyx, since Nyx has a revive. Hopefully she's not taunted. Alright, she's coming back. It didn't proc. So now I'm gonna stun Cynthia, because Cynthia's really dangerous. I would have liked to kill Cynthia. But, say Avi. So, let's go ahead. Oh, she's taunted now. Okay, but she has 3 orbs, so even if she's taunted, I'll be able to get... Alright, so let's do cooldown reduction. Who's gonna ult next? I believe she's gonna ult. She's dead. Oh, that's it. Alright, so she's got anti-revive up, so let's try to kill her. There she goes. That is a Nemesis anti-revive, by the way, not the Morrigan, so that just made that a whole lot easier. So now, you see she has three charges. God dang, she has a lot of buffs. Yeah, let's go through all these. So that's her self buff, that's Curse, she's silenced. She has critical strike chance increase, attack increase, she's taunted, she has melancholy. Oh crap, melancholy might actually, oh no it doesn't, okay. And then she has her self shield. I thought melancholy was gonna stop the passive. So right now we should get AoE damage, but unfortunately Taio's protected. So it'll just do bonus damage to Claude. See how it goes off. Did it go off? What happened there? Well, I swear to God it goes off. But she definitely lost all her stacks. I guess maybe it wasn't one of those things, I just didn't see it. Because Claude actually did take a good grip of damage. It just sucks because it's not as impressive as when you have like 4 or 5 heroes up and you can see the damage go out, you know. But I did my best, guys. Maybe we'll still get one. Or not. So there you go. I better take care of this guy. Oh no. You guys got 6 stacks. Alright, there's a taunt. Wow, he's got 9 stacks now. Well, not perfect conditions, but she's still, we can credit her with the easy kill on Morrigan. I didn't have to deal with Berserking Morrigan. That's pretty nice. She put out a decent amount of damage there, considering she went down. And keep in mind, she's not fully built. Both my Taio and my Morrigan are basically fully built, with the exception of plus 15 runes, but they both have 6 purple stars. They both have really good runes, the best I could offer for their attack types. So. But yeah, so Nemesis is holding her own with 1 purple star there. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, okay, so this will be my last one. Now I'm trying to showcase her AoE damage, but if we don't get it, we don't get it, that's it. Oh yeah, I wanted to thank everyone for the well wishes. For those who didn't know, I was suffering from laryngitis the last 2 weeks, basically. Still have a little bit of it, but I feel way better, so. Alright, bro, so here we are again, that lovely time of that AoE dapes. Let's do it. Didn't get a whole lot out there, but... She did manage to proc anti-revive on Taio. So... I'm gonna go... She didn't get taunted, did she? Go on Sid. Proct. Resolve. So now I'm gonna stun Taio, because... I thought Taio had anti-revive. Did that cleanse it? Maybe he just got so many buffs, it just got rid of it. I don't know, whatever happened, I'm still killing him. So... Problem is, Sid's just gonna freaking... Alright, let me just... I'll knock off vulnerabilities. Might lose this one. These guys are actually kind of beefy. Alright, so let's see here. Kaio should be ulting soon, so that's how I'm gonna get him. With the good old engraving proc. I got lucky there, he was taunted. Alright, so now I'm gonna hit this so that her turn comes quicker and her crit chance goes up. Got hit pretty hard, but she's still up and she's down. But if I can make it to Sid's turn, yeah, which I will. Oh man. Man, these shields are becoming majorly important here. So Taio's freaking... My god, dude. He's taunted, so... Guess I'll just hit with the regular. Hope the multi hits someone good. It didn't. Alright, so there's your team back. Hit him, Morgan. Here comes their Morgan. There goes Sid. Let's see if Nemesis can help turn this around here. Okay, so she has 3. How do you say? So now the issue is, do I want to go for an anti-revive on Morgan, or... Well, I can't on Sid, because Sid has protection, or do I just want to get rid of Kane? Because I don't know, probably Morgan. The Morgan AI just goes for aiming endlessly, which is kind of dumb. Yeah, we might as well just go for Kane. Take that, sir. And we did get anti-revive on him. Which puts me in a position to kill him without having to worry about him being revived, so let's do that. Of course he got the double. And then I'm gonna knock the immunity off Kane, but he's still gonna survive. Plus I got a lucky multi. Alright, no worries. So then now, since she has 3 stacks, it should just be something where I hit Sid, and then her ult goes off. Let's see here. And now I'm starting to wonder, does her ult only go off on the person, or is it bugged? Because I swear to God, she's had 3 stacks a couple times. We'll go read it after this again, see. Maybe it's misprogrammed or mistranslated. Or maybe it only works AoE when she does her AoE. That's probably what it is. I can't test it now. Alright, let's see what kind of deeps she did. Not bad. Not bad. Took a grip of damage too. Did go down once. Alright, so let's go back to her skills, because that's going to bother me now. Alright. If there are 3 or more charms when attacking, consumes all day flip damage equal to... Okay, so I did misread that. I thought it was AoE damage the whole time. It's AoE damage when you do her ulti, which is on a 6-turn cooldown, 5 turns if you get it maxed. But otherwise, it'll do the additional damage on just one person if you're using her 1. Okay, that makes sense. But still, that's pretty good for focusing down. Just too bad it doesn't AoE all the time, but I suppose that would probably make her pretty broken. You could just keep hasting her with Karen or someone like that. Well, then again, she hastes herself. Alright, so figured it out. So I would say when you build her, get her as high attack percentage and crit damage as you can with some crit strike chance. Try to get it probably to 30-ish% or so, because if you use her self buff at that point, once you get there, you know, you'll be at 45% for 2 turns. That'll be pretty good when you're relying on her 1. Penetration on her 3. Passive, she has ignored defense once she gets 3 stacks. And yeah, she puts up unable to be revived, so she's kind of like a triple threat hero there that actually hits decently hard. So anyways, guys, this has been your Nemesis character skills and guide video. Let me know. I know I got a couple requests floating out there. There was a person that requested Cheshire from me. I'll start to work on that. I'll show you guys my projects I'm working on right now. So right now, my next character I'm bringing up, actually, I guess this doesn't really show it. It's gonna be May. There she is right there. I've got her to 54. I'm also working on Ian a little bit, although I already did the Ian showcase, and I got like 3 Ian friends, so I don't need Ian right now, but we'll see how it turns out, because I think there's another water dungeon coming pretty soon, so I got my win team pretty set, as you could see, with Kylie. I got Ruby sitting here, got 2 supports, so I'm pretty good there. Then eventually, I was trying to think of my next hero. I'm actually starting to think, I want to bring up some water heroes, and believe it or not, one of them I was thinking of was Lydia. And the reason I was thinking of Lydia, go ahead and bring her up, I'll show you. There's also a couple like Ica, Carolina, not Marduk. But so Lydia's water, right? So most people, you know, she's stories, or they're like, she's garbage. But I was looking at her, like, you know, she has a revive, self-revive. Removes one ally's damage over time effect at the end of the turn. Grants damage over time immunity to the ally for 2 turns. So I'm wondering if I took her into Callie, who's coming back, if that would count poison. I'm not sure, because I was watching her earlier, because I was fighting against her in the, what do you call it, the time-space void, and she wasn't removing Callie's poison, but then sometimes it would go away, so I was thinking, well, maybe it was this, but I don't know for sure, because there was a bunch of other heroes I'm not 1000% familiar with, but if this works, she would actually be pretty good on Callie, because she has a self-revive. Her one, you know, it's a typical healing stuff, and for the most part, you're not going to have water heroes in there, so you don't get the extra 5%. But she has a revive on her 2 on a 3-turn cooldown. And as you guys know in Callie, Callie's killing people left and right if she's going nuts with her crit chance and her multis, no matter what you do, pretty much. So on her 1, it is at base, and you probably should have a bunch of copies of her right now, but at base, it's 50% HP restore and increased defense. Increased defense on the tank would be pretty gnarly. And you can get it to F in 100%. And defense plus 40 for 3 turns. Now, when Callie's in stealth, she's going to reduce buff duration by 1 when she comes out in autos, but still, that's pretty gnarly for that dungeon. She is water, she's going to take more damage, but I mean, there's people that run Karen in that dungeon or Demos, and, you know, if your supports are taking damage, they're going to take damage no matter what. And then this thing right here, restore HP for an ally 20% and 2 adjacent allies over time for 3 turns, and make them guaranteed to counterattack once for 2 turns. This would actually go really well on whatever you're running for your DPS. The Morgan, etc. Guaranteed a counterattack, because Callie will be attacking them like crazy, or her clones. And then you skill this up all the way. You know, counterattack once for 3 turns versus 2 turns, and restores HP to 2 adjacent allies over time for 4 turns on a 5-turn cooldown. That's actually pretty nasty, so I'm thinking of getting her up, as weird as it sounds. But we'll see. I'm also thinking of getting Ica up just because Ica increases HP. And that would go really good against a fat Sid shield, since Sid shields are a percentage of his HP. And then Carolina, you know, for water, she's a superior tank. But there's no rush on the water heroes right now because for whatever reason, that Marble / Movirum, they don't like fire 4-star advents for whatever reason. They don't put them in the game. Like we said, we got another water one coming in the game apparently. So. Really weird stuff, but so my projects, it's gonna be May, then it's probably gonna be Lydia, quite honestly. Now I can couch that and maybe do Cheshire, we'll see, but I don't know. Like, because the thing about Cheshire is, I was also thinking of Edwin, but the thing about Cheshire is she's really good with what's her face? Cynthia. Because of that strike preparation, and she gives Cynthia that Veil of Phantasm, which is a guaranteed evade, which is pretty gnarly on Cynthia and whoever's standing next to her. Yeah. And then every time she crits, she has a chance of putting up that same shield on a random ally. So that's pretty gnarly. I do actually think Cynthia's cool. So she's on my short list too. It's just I don't know how short. I was thinking about Edwin, but then the thing about Edwin is I kind of need more copies of him. But Edwin could be another answer to the tanky revive meta because he has that self buff that depending on what he's attacking, he ignores defense on defender heroes. That's pretty gnarly, and especially with the buffs to Holy right now. As far as, you know, Aemon's there to give extra support or extra damage on top of everything. This guy's super good. He's reducing debuff duration on top of throwing out heals and critting a lot and putting up damage immunities. And then Sai has always been good. But anyways, I think I've rambled on too long. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll be trying to make a couple more. It's just the videos I want to make, they are heavy time investments for me. So I'm going to get busy doing one. And as stuff comes up, guys, because I can't think of anything offhand that's come up that I need to address, like, because, you know, PvP is still PvP. Aemon's pretty much on every team now, which is annoying, but yeah, no, that's just the way it is, so. Anyways, I am ShowtimeDr, ShowtimeDr on Twitch. You found my YouTube, look in the show notes. We got a link to my Discord there. You can come in, share your experiences, answer questions, etc. You can always check me out on Twitch. I live stream usually in the afternoon, evenings, some weekdays, some weekends. We do movie nights too. We're anime heads for the most part, although we watched a sappy love film yesterday. We watched, what's that called? I forget, the one with Ryan Reynolds from 2004. Whatever. Anyways, it was a sappy love film. And then, you know, come in. And then my Twitter's there too if you want to see, get a heads up on when the videos are coming out. Anyways, guys, have a good day. Farm hard, get strong. Peace out.